Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Happy Friday. Good morning. Welcome to the Beauty of Aging. I am Angel, the founder of Maison 276 and creator of the award-winning three-step system for silver, gray, and blonde hair, a healthy way to brighten, cleanse, and restore the natural brilliance of your hair without purple dyes. On the Beauty of Aging, we meet here every Friday morning for Coffee with Angel, a community chit chat. We talk about a lot of different topics, beauty, lifestyle, wellness, but they're all issues that are important to you, the woman who is unapologetically growing bolder. And so thank you, Shauna. You love the new intro. We're still working on it, but yes, it's an original. I was just playing around a few months ago, and I have used the instrumental part in some of the vlogs, but I've never used the full vocal parts until this morning. So thank you, thank you, thank you. How are you guys doing? Hey, All About Food. Hey, Cassandra, Sister Girl Chronicles. I have got a juicy topic this morning. This whole season, we have talked a lot about, I started off just with the whole idea that, we all need to give ourselves time to rest and reset, rejuvenate, revive. No New Year's resolutions, at least I don't do those. It's always just about improving. Oop, an error occurred. What error? Okay, let's see. Good morning, Felicia from New York. How y'all doing? Okay, so I guess everything's cool. Good morning, Lorraine. Hey, Mary, Joy Lynn. Good morning. Okay, checking in. Hey, Tangle Silver. Good morning. I am also glad you are getting to hang out. You up early in Colorado. So thank you all. Let's see. I've got to go and check and make sure everybody's live, everybody's on. So great. We got everybody here. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Good morning. Good morning. And so today's topic, I always have hundreds of topics, so I'm not sure what we're going to talk about. But today's topic, and I'm going to type this into the chat while I'm talking, are we harder on ourselves than we sometimes need to be? Are we our own worst critic? And if so, why? I'm going to put that in the chat. Shauna said she had to pause to get her dance on. That's perfect. That's how we should start our Friday. What I did realize, because I'm an amateur videographer now, is that I only set it to be like 5 seconds. So that's why I kept going off. So next week it'll be longer. You'll have a couple of minutes to get your dance on if you haven't stretched. You'll have time to do that too. So getting back to the topic of today. There we go. Are we our worst critic? If so, yes or why? So let me tell you why this topic just really irritated my soul yesterday. So for weeks, I had been planning a new project to launch on Amazon Live. And so the process is kind of similar to what we do here. There's a platform that you use with various apps. You connect to all the things so you can stream to multiple platforms at once. So the intent was to stream to Amazon, YouTube, Facebook, all the places where the Beauty of Aging community shows up. I had been up till midnight multiple times this week, even though I'd been working on it for quite a while. And y'all, yesterday, oh, also posted on Instagram that I was going live, sent out emails that I was going live on Amazon. And when the time came, every possible technical difficulty that you can think of happened. I could not even get the computer to connect to the platform. I wound up going live on my phone, which I don't like doing because I'm a self-confessed perfectionist. I like systems. I like things that, you know, there's a place for everything, right? I'm not the person that will pick up her phone and go live just on a whim. I could probably be a little bit more spontaneous in that way, but I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress. And so of course, the things that I was talking about, I can talk about those things in my sleep, but it was just not the way that I wanted the first Amazon Live to be. And I was just so upset. Like, you can't, if you watched it, I don't look upset. It just looks like I'm in a dark corner in my office talking about Maison 276 products. I could roll out of bed and do that. But I was just so disappointed in the production quality. It wasn't what I wanted. I couldn't see it was, I was not happy. And so I was telling my son about it, and he was just like, okay, well, next time. And I was just like, you don't understand how much I put it. And he was just like, next time. Don't worry about it, Mom. And that really just made me think, the very first Coffee with Angel you did was not great. The very first YouTube video you did, it was not awesome. But here we are with a community of 60,000 and growing every day. And I just had to have a talk with my own self. Like, it is not that deep. It really isn't. It's really not that deep. And so that made me think, I know I'm my own toughest critic, but I'm sure I am not the only person. So I would just love to hear your thoughts on, do you find yourself being overly critical of yourself for things that it's not really that deep, but it's just so ingrained in you? So that's my moment of transparency. And if you're new to the beauty of aging, our coffee chats are very, very real, very transparent. We talk about real issues, and we also talk about solutions and how we can get better. And so that's what we're talking about today. I see the chat is blowing up, so we're about to share. All About Food is just honest. She's like, yes, but I don't know why. Shauna says, yes, we can be extra critical of ourselves when we focus on the bad and the flaws. We can internalize things that, yes, no one even notices. Now, I'm not going to say yesterday nobody noticed that wasn't great production quality, but to your point, most of the time we're focusing on things that only we see. And in fact, things that are not really facts, they're just our opinions about something. Absolutely. And we definitely see ourselves differently than others, for sure, Shauna. So true. Good morning. Good morning, you guys. If you just hop on, hello. Good morning, Yaya Roth, Grandma Jack. So great to see you, Miss Jackson, 1908. Good morning. If you know, you know. So if you just hopped on, welcome to Coffee with Angel, the beauty of aging. We hop on every Friday morning to talk about a lot of topics. And this morning's topic is, are we our worst critic? And if so, why? Good morning from Maryland. So one of the things, it's not like we don't wake up being this way. Like, we don't start off being this way. So what is it in society? What is it what are the things that we do that just, we learn these habits over time, and it's just something that we automatically do. Good morning, Diane. Miss Lorraine, Fabulous 73, says she has learned to give herself some grace. It is never that serious. You know, I grace is the word of the year for me, Miss Lorraine, in that I am working in 2026 to give myself more grace. Absolutely. And here's the thing, it doesn't mean that we're not constantly trying to improve. That's not it at all. That is not it at all. But there is this point of criticalness that sometimes we're being overly critical and we can't even give ourselves credit for the things that we've done. So I'm just curious, when do you find that you're hardest on yourself? Like, what triggers that for you? Is it everything or is it just certain things? And I know this is like, sometimes we come in and we do like super fun, fashion questions. And that's good too. But sometimes I want us to just kind of sit and have some honest conversation with ourselves and with each other. Because on this community, you guys know this is not a platform where I come and lecture. I drop in topics. Sometimes they're hot and spicy, sometimes they're fun, but I drop in topics that I believe we can learn from each other from. Good morning, Nidella. If you guys just top on, we are talking about why we're often our worst critic and what makes us so critical of ourselves and how we can learn from that. Again, it's not about not improving, it's about giving yourself grace, as Miss Lorraine said. So, Shauna says that imposter syndrome is a challenge. The question was, when do you find you're most critical of yourself? And Shauna says it's imposter syndrome. When you feel like you're not good enough, when you question whether you deserve to be in a place, in a position, when you question whether or not you deserve to have some good thing, that's imposter syndrome. Wondering if you're good enough, smart enough, whatever, fill in the blank enough than everyone else. That's imposter syndrome. And that, Shauna, you're right, that can cause us to be more critical because we're thinking we're not deserving. Absolutely, Sophia. Absolutely. Good morning. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. On Sharina over on Instagram says, honest conversation, had to have one this morning, made me cry. Well, I hope they're tears of release, that in this conversation and with us sharing, and like, I shared my testimony this morning, that we can release some of that because it can be a pressure valve. And my hope is that we can release some of that this morning by us just sharing the times when we are more critical of ourselves. And sometimes that's all the time. And that need for growth, to your point, turns into pressure. And at some point, it needs to be released, because that pressure, that constant pressure, that imposter syndrome that Shauna talked about, it leads to a place where it's just never enough. And that's just not healthy. So I love the sharing of moments when you feel like you're most critical of yourself. I would say for me, it's often with the public facing things, like literally anything that's public facing. Um, I don't consider myself a shy person. Like I'm comfortable in public situations. Um, but I am a little bit of an introvert. It's a weird thing. I think it's called being an extroverted introvert, meaning you can be extroverted when you need to be, when the situation requires it, but left to my own devices, I would most certainly be an extrovert. And so because of that, when I am public facing, things do have to be structured. I do need systems and processes around me, most of which I create for myself. Most of which I create for myself because I do set the bar so high and I want to have things in place to make sure that I can meet my own expectations. And so when anything like what happened yesterday with the Amazon Live, when anything is not in order, that those are the times when I am going to be the most critical. I am going to, which I've already done, like diagnose the problem. What do I need to do to make sure that doesn't happen again? And because it's that control thing of wanting everything to not be perfect, but be excellent. I think excellence is always the goal, and sometimes we let perfection get in the way. And when I say we, I'm talking about Angel. Oh, this is so good, Joylyn. This is so good. We see ourselves the way we think other people see us. And a lot of times, Joylyn, we're just wrong. We're just wrong because we think other people are looking at us with that same critical eye. And it often causes us to be defensive in how we react because we've created a scenario or a narrative that's just wrong, right? And so we go into it a certain way when that's not it at all. You are so right, Joylyn. Thank you so much for sharing that. Marcia says, I'm most critical when I compare my journey to others. Yes, y'all checking all my boxes. Absolutely. But we have our own journey and it may take longer to achieve our dreams and desires. And we live in a culture where social media pressures. Yes, absolutely. And the whole, there's this saying that comparison is the thief of joy, because if you will always find someone that on the outside it looks like they have more, they're doing more, they're more of whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, but you never know someone's story. And the thing that you always have to remind yourself about is particularly about social media is that it is literally just the highlight reel. It's the ESPN top 10 version most of the time of people's lives and their journeys. And it is not the difficult part, the lonely part, the parts that you do, at when that no one sees, in the grunt and grind work in the trenches that most people aren't willing to do. And then oftentimes when you do hear that story of someone's journey is after they've gotten to the other side of the mountain, right? And so that's when they feel comfortable because now it's not really about being vulnerable. It's just saying, this is my story and this is how I got to the pinnacle. But typically those valley moments, those deep in the trenches moments, those, wanting to pull your hair out moments, those moments are typically not public in the moment. It's usually after the fact. And that's not a criticism because it is very difficult to be, I'll just speak personally. It's very difficult to be out on stage for the whole world to see through your most difficult, darkest, vulnerable moments. So I don't criticize people for that, but I do have to remind myself, and I always want to remind you that what you're seeing is never the whole story. And so, even I have to constantly be aware of that, even knowing how difficult the entrepreneur's journey is, but it will always look like someone else is just skating to the next level when I know that every single step is difficult. So absolutely. It's the comparison, the thief of joy. Marcia also says sometimes others' opinions, yeah, matter too much for sure. We definitely need constructive criticism, but all of our critics are not coming from a good space, a good place. Just 100% facts. And that is when it is really important to have discernment, Marcia, because we do need people that challenge us on our beliefs, challenge us on plans. Like that's the whole point of having mentors and guides and people who are further along in the journey. I have so many of those people. And I'm grateful for them. And you need them to challenge you. You need to have a lot of different perspectives. But having said that, it does require discernment for knowing who to bring into that circle and whose criticism we need to take and whose we just need to let slide. Absolutely. Yes, we all do all about food, feel like we could have done better. But I think some of us have a challenge with giving ourselves credit for how far we've come. And that's why journaling can be really important. And I do have to get better about that. But it is important because I go back and I look at something that I was struggling with maybe a year ago or 6 months ago. And now that problem seems so small. But if I didn't go back and review that in my journal, I wouldn't have reminded myself. And that's one of those, give yourself grace moments for sure. Sister Girl Chronicles says comparison is a sore spot for her. Yes, especially with content creators. Oh, for sure. You're working hard, you're feeling you're not doing enough. Right. Absolutely. And that's why I have to go back and remind myself of, how reluctant I was to even get into this space, Sister Girl Chronicles, just so reluctant, because I knew it required a level of vulnerability that I was not comfortable with. Um, and so I completely understand that, especially in the content creator space, because a lot of it is just all the prettiness. And I think that's why I was so reluctant to get into the space because I didn't really want to do that. There were millions of people already doing that. I wanted to figure out how to come into this space and provide value, but value beyond this is what I'm doing, but value how can what I'm doing help you live a better life and be a better version of yourself. And that's always my challenge, right? Like not just bringing you content, but bringing you content that's valuable to you. And so I completely understand that. Y'all have got some great insights. I love it. I love it. I love it. Tangle Silver over on Instagram says that her expectations, she says, my expectations for myself can really throw me off when I don't meet them for whatever reason. Right. Sharina says, same here with the ambivalence and the expectations for sure. So I think the key theme here, y'all, one is that this is something we all struggle with. So that should give you some comfort. Like you're not the only one. But I do think a sharing, well, I can just say for me, it does make me feel a little bit better because I know I'm not the only one, right? But the one thing we do when we come here and we talk about the challenges, is we don't just leave with that, right? We leave with some solutions. And so I want us to talk now about, like, what are some hacks that you use to pull yourself out of that space, particularly the comparison space, right? I'll just say, well, I'm going to type that into the chat first. So what are some, oh, Shauna's got some more. Shauna says she used to put pressure on herself to do more when it comes to friends. I don't want to let them down. So she goes the extra mile, right? And I've learned the hard way that everyone does not do the same, right? Yeah. I think that falls into the category of givers and takers. And then the other thing, Shauna, what that I've come to realize at this stage in life is that everybody doesn't have the capacity to give at the same level you do. It could just be a season in their life, or it could just be something in their makeup that's just not who they are. Not a judgment statement, just saying some people are natural givers and some are takers, or just are not as nurturing and as giving as others. And sometimes we have to see people for who they are, understand their limitations and capabilities, and just move forward with that, because that's just the way it is. Definitely from a season perspective, and again, just in a moment of transparency, I definitely feel like my capacity right now is so limited that I don't overpromise for anything, whether it's business or personal. I always try to keep in mind, what is your capacity? Because I'd rather say no than say yes and then fall short and then disappoint someone. And sometimes I say no to things that are good. It's not even that the thing is a bad thing. It's just that I don't have the capacity. As it relates to Maison 276, sometimes I'm asked to do things that would be really good, but I also have these other great things that I'm working on that are more relative and more important to an immediate goal. And so this other good opportunity that I was presented with, maybe next year would be, if it's an annual event, for example, I might say, I really don't have the capacity to do that now, but please keep me on the list. Please follow up the next time you have something. I really want to help and I really want to support, but that way I don't overextend myself. And then because I also don't want to be viewed as someone that can't be depended on. So we have to understand our capacity and also understand someone else's capacity as well. Good morning from Dubai. I just had to put that shout out on the screen. Good morning and thank you for joining us. Absolutely. Yes, Shauna says sometimes giving too much can leave you emotionally bankrupt, and then you don't have anything for yourself. And what have we been talking about all year? You cannot pour from an empty cup. And the thing about that, Shauna, is that you will be disappointed for not doing what you feel like you needed to do to support that person. And that person is long gone on to the next thing. And you're still stressing about it and being overly critical of yourself. So absolutely. As Nidella says, being self first is not selfish. It is literally self-preservation. That's literally what it is. Sister Girl Chronicles is echoing, yes, capacity and understanding what you can and cannot do, for sure. Ms. Jackson over on Instagram says, yes, reflecting on where you came from and using it to learn how to get to your next goal. which is why journaling is so important, because even if you don't do it every day, just periodically, because frankly, we're not going to remember the great thing we did, how we overcame something. We don't remember those things enough. And she says, shifting her mindset to life being a work in progress and giving yourself grace to learn and develop and to lean on the village. So much, so much. That's a whole word, she said. Understanding others' capacity. Oh, and oh, she's echoing about appreciating just where other people are. She says, understanding others' capacity and accepting that everyone's capacity is not at your level. Yep. And not taking it personal. Yes, everyone can get on with the journey. There is a saying that says, people are in your life for a reason and for a season. And that really used to bother me because I have a small friend group, but like they are there. We are there for each other. And so the idea of people being in your life for a season used to bother me because I don't feel like relationships are disposable. But the way that I embrace that in a way that's comfortable for me, Ms. Jackson, is going back to the capacity thing. Some people have capacity at different seasons, right? And so for a season, they might be very close to you. And then for another season, either your season is pivoted or theirs, they may not be as close, but that doesn't mean they're less important to you. Yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Dubai Walking Tours. She came across our community a few weeks ago. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. We're global, y'all. Oh my gosh. I love it. Well, we do have time to time people from Ghana, Jamaica. So thank you so much for joining our global beauty of aging community. Yes. Sister Girl Chronicles says, now, so y'all, what we have moved into now is a solution phase. And it's happened very organically, and I love that because we don't just bring challenges and things that we're working on, we bring solutions and life hacks. Sister Girl Chronicles says, if we keep a list of our big and small wins instead of worrying about what didn't go well, let's take the wins and celebrate them, and turn those losses into lessons. And that's the pivot I had to do with the disastrous Amazon Live. Turn the disastrous, what I consider a loss, into a lesson. Absolutely. Thank you. And so, you know what? That is, Sister Girl Chronicles, you made me think about something that also changed or pivoted my mindset yesterday and made me, I don't want to say calm down, because I wasn't like outwardly upset. I was just so disappointed in my execution. And so as I began like figuring out, okay, this app didn't work. Now what do I need to do? What app can I use? What app can I pivot? The crazy thing is that the research came back around to apps that I already use, platforms I already use. And so I got into that as this project relates. It's a new thing that I'm doing. So I need this new shiny object over here. It was essentially, a streaming platform, and realize the platforms that I currently use, they actually are good enough for what you want. The one thing that made me look at the new shiny object was not nearly as important as I set it out to be. Using what I already have that is already excellent at doing what I needed to do, and just figuring out, okay, I can use it for this project as well. Let's do a deeper dive. So, sometimes we're overly critical and don't think we have what we need. And sometimes it's just right there. It's just a matter of perspective. But I needed that lesson because sooner or later it was going to happen. I needed that lesson to help refocus me and look at what I had and, take what I initially considered a loss and turn that into a lesson. Absolutely. Shauna says, people come and go into our life either temporarily or for a lifetime, and they all play a role. Absolutely. Absolutely. It is the journey. It's kind of like, the clothes in the closet. Sometimes it's not that they don't fit anymore. It's just that you're in a different space. You're in a different space, you're in a different place, and you just need something else. Sophia says she had to learn that, right. Oh, this is kind of pivoted. She had to learn that everyone is not a giver, but having a good heart is a gift. Oh, absolutely. And I believe in the law of the harvest. You do reap what you sow. And so even not to personally bankrupt and emotionally bankrupt yourself, which, Shauna was absolutely right to guard against that. But at the end of the day, when you can give yourself some boundaries to know when's enough, when enough is enough, then having a good heart is still, I still think it makes you a far happier person for sure. For sure. Absolutely. You guys have some great tips this morning. That's why I love these topics. Sometimes, even when they're a little spicy, even when they touch some sensitive spots, which I feel like this did, it's kind of like pulling the scab off a little. And the scab has to come off in order for it to heal. The scab is just a little bit of protection while that wound is still open and raw. But we all know the scab's got to come off. So let's talk about ways, some practices for giving ourselves grace, because we always want to wrap up with some tools to make life better. So, what are some tips to give ourselves grace and be less critical? I would say we've touched on this a lot already. One of the first things, and you guys brought it up, it is the comparison. Don't let comparison steal your joy. What I have attempted to do, what I've learned to do is you can still look at someone's journey. I look at it to be instructional, either what I do or don't want, for what I do or don't want to do. I look at it for inspiration. Sometimes it can be a roadmap to help you get where you want to get. Not that you're copying someone, but the truth is that there is nothing, excuse me, there is nothing new under the sun. We truly can learn from other people's journey. And so when you see something and maybe you're starting, to feel envy or jealousy or, oh my God, I can't believe they got that thing, maybe try to pull back the layers a little bit and see what you can learn from that. What tips, put it in AI, whether it's an interview you're watching, and have AI summarize the tips for you, because we can learn. So it's not about not looking at someone's journey, but it's about how we frame it. Don't frame it as comparison to be more critical of yourselves. I try to frame it as a way to learn and be instructive. Is that Debbie? Oh, Dubai says, be yourself. Love one another and be confident. Right. Marcia says, remember, life is a marathon, not a sprint. Oh my goodness. And Marcia, as someone, who has run multiple marathons back in the day when running was my favorite, it's still my favorite thing to do. My knees just don't like doing it. But you would think I would draw on that experience more because everything is a marathon. Everything is a marathon. And what every marathon teller, every marathon runner, or any kind of distance runner will tell you is that you feel like stopping long before you get to the finish line. You feel like stopping long before that. But what you have to remind yourself is that I did all this training. I didn't do all this training to quit. I did all this training to finish. And at the end of the day, no matter how long it takes me, no matter how painful it might be, I'm going to stop at these water stops, drink some water, hydrate, stretch a little bit, and then I'm going to keep running until I get to the finish line. Absolutely. Oh, this is great, Sister Girl Chronicles. She says, one thing counselors always recommend is to pause, perceive, ask, understand, strategize, and evaluate. That's the pause is the first thing, because sometimes, we just rush into judgment of ourselves, not just other people. We just rush into the judgment part. And then that's when all the criticism, the internal, bad self-talk starts. And sometimes we just need to chill out and pause and sometimes ask ourselves, what was the worst thing that could have happened? Because sometimes we're thinking the worst thing and it's not that at all. So thank you so much. I love that. Just, pause, right, in and of itself will preach. Thank you, Tangle Silver. I'm so glad you joined us. And she is saying she's got to run, but all good shares today. So if you are just hopping on with us, welcome to the Beauty of Aging. This is our Friday morning chat, our coffee chat. I'm Angel, the founder of Maison 276, a beauty brand for women who are unapologetically growing bolder. Our hero product is a 3-step system for silver, gray, and blonde hair. I created it to be a healthy way to brighten, cleanse, and restore the natural brilliance of your hair without purple dyes. Available at select Walmarts nationwide. If you're just joining us, all of our coffee chats are downloaded downloaded to YouTube immediately after, so you can follow the full conversation, get all the gems that the community is dropping. Today's topic was, are we our worst critic and why? And we've been delving into, some of the reasons why we are hardest on ourselves, some of the reasons why some of our self-talk is worse than we would ever give to others, but also not just stopping there, but landing on strategies for how we can reverse some of that self-talk. This is not a platform where I come and lecture. This is where I drop in topics that are important to the community, and we talk about it together. We brainstorm and we offer solutions, introspection, transparency. But at the end of the day, it's all about helping us lead a better life, not just today, but in the future. Mary, I agree, Marcia, that pause, that was good. Mary says, do not compare. Absolutely. Enjoy your own journey and celebrate others and yourselves. That is a great extra point of wisdom, Mary. For the comparison part, don't compare to be critical of yourself. Compare to celebrate someone else's journey, because that means if they did it, then you can do it too. That means if they overcame their obstacles, you can do it too. The journey might not look different, But what looks like y'all, I cannot talk. What looks like success for you is also possible. It is also possible. So thank you. Absolutely. Oh, Cassandra, you got everybody with that pause acronym. That was amazing. And also forgiveness. Oh my gosh. Yes, Sophia. Not only do we talk to ourselves, sometimes worse than we would talk to others, we don't give ourselves grace that we oftentimes are quick to give others, but we also don't forgive ourselves as quickly as we forgive others. And if we are not forgiving, maybe the reason we aren't forgiving of others is because we don't forgive ourselves. Because, there's a saying that you can only love other people as much as you love yourself. So if you don't love yourself and you're not forgiving of yourself, then that is oftentimes reflected on other people. Such gems. This is why I love this community so much. I love it. I love it. Yes, absolutely. Shauna says, remember that yeah, we talked about that. It may not be fake, Shauna, but it is definitely sanitized. And that's okay. That is okay. I am definitely not the one that says, you got to live your whole life out loud on in front of a camera. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, Yes, I'm going to put that pause back up there because that was so good. Everybody really loved that. Let's see. We got so many great comments, y'all. So many. There we go. Exactly, Yaya Roth. See other people's success is a blueprint for your own. Absolutely. Because even if the exact goal isn't the same, sometimes the strategies can be the same. I have learned in my entrepreneurial journey to building Maison 276, I have learned so much from other founders. And these are not people that I know. I have, oh my gosh, so many podcasts, so many interviews, maybe thousands at this point. And many of the most important things that I've learned that have been helpful for me, those people were not in beauty at all. But so it wasn't about having the exact same goal. But to Yaya Roth's point, it was a blueprint, it was a strategy, maybe not the whole thing, but one thing. Like I could look, they might have had 10 points and I could have just latched onto one thing. And one tool that I will say that's been really helpful for me, there is a platform, an app, whatever you want to call it, called Masterclass. And it is literally hundreds of people, maybe thousands at this point, who have been successful at various things in life from I mean, there are actors, there are athletes, um, I don't know if they're politicians, corporate executives. I mean, you name the category, and there is someone. There are chefs. Um, there are bartenders. Like anybody that is excellent at their craft, they have likely done a master class, and they're broken down into these like 5-minute segments. And I tell you, it is so good. It is so worth it. If you are not familiar with masterclass, go now. I'm going to put that in the chat. And I'm also going to put that in the description, the link in the description, because usually there is, like with most apps, there's a free trial period. I highly, highly recommend you take advantage of the free trial period and listen to something first that is of interest to you. And then if you decide to sign up for it, you will be amazed at um, how many different life hacks and success strategies that you can learn from. And I'm not saying this just as an entrepreneur, like literally anyone, just life hacks, things to help you be more successful at whatever it is, even if you're in retirement, you know, to have the best retirement ever. But I'm a huge fan of Masterclass. I know that was a little bit of a pivot, but I always like to share stuff that I find helpful, and I think the community can find helpful as well. Yes. Thank you. You know, Shauna, Shauna is my social media manager, because one of the things always forget to say when I'm here is, y'all, please subscribe, please like, and please comment, and please share. So thank you so much. She always reminds me to say that. And I guess I'm just so grateful for the community. We've grown so much. And organically, and I'm going to be honest with you, um, 18 months ago, the channel was almost 18 months. This was above and beyond my expectations. Like I knew what I wanted it to be. Like I did have, like in a perfect world, this is what I want. But I was just so reluctant to get out there. Again, being the person that does not want to live her life out loud on camera. And so you guys have just given me so much encouragement, so much motivation. The content recommendations really have informed how this platform has been built. And so I am just so beyond grateful for that. So I just had to say that, Shauna. Thank you. Let's see what other life hacks, we want to close it out with on how we can continue to give ourselves grace. All About Food says she doesn't compare. Yeah, she understands that everyone's journey is different. Absolutely. And that we can learn from each other. Absolutely. Oh, thank you, Murda. Thank you. Thank you so much. Y'all, it's been still, speaking of Murda, last time I checked, y'all were still having some cool weather in New York. I know y'all are waiting for that spring weather to come. So as we wrap up, y'all, we are going to do more about giving ourselves grace. Don't compare to be negative. Compare to learn. Also, and when people talk about being overly critical, oftentimes people immediately jump to, well, that means you don't want to improve. No, that doesn't mean that at all. We are all growing to improve. As far as I'm concerned, as long as I have breath, I want to improve. So the goal isn't to stop growing. The goal is that you don't have to be at war with yourself in the process. Oh, thank you so much. Our final thought for today. You guys are going to make me cry. The goal isn't to stop growing. Oops. Y'all see I didn't put my glasses on. Let's get a heart emoji. Angel, sometimes you're doing too much. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate all of the comments, y'all. Thank you so much. Thank you, Covenant Girl Ministries. Absolutely. Keeping that silver gray hair sparkling. That's what we love to hear. We love to hear about it. We love to hear it. Thank you, Shauna. It has been a blessing to me. I don't think you're ever too old to stretch outside your comfort zone. And so I just appreciate the community in so, so many ways. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Our final thought for the weekend, the goal isn't to stop growing, is to not be at war with yourself in the process. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I know this was one of those topics that made you dig deep, but it's been so helpful. You guys have shared, you've been transparent, and that's what the beauty of aging community is all about. It's all about community. So I'm going to take us out on our new theme song, and you can start getting your weekend groove on. Thank you so much, Sharina, Yaya Roth, Tangle Silver. Thank y'all for contributing this week to all of the conversation and being so transparent. Also, Ms. Jackson 1908, I appreciate you. Hey, Kazani Products, how you doing?
She walks in like a thunderstorm, cracks the sky, her own reform. No need for sorry, no need for shame. She's got fire running through her veins, yeah. Every step a battle cry. Oh, yeah. Watch her rise, watch her fly. She's bold, she's beautiful. She's unapologetic, breaking rules magnetic. Ooh, she's beautiful. The world is hers to take. Unstoppable quake. She laughs loud in a quiet room, turns the dark into bright bloom. Her words cut like a silver blade. She's a legend in the making trade. Loud can't chain her wings of steel. Truth is all she dares to feel. She's bold, she's beautiful.